I just wanted to make a interesting discussion video, maybe like something that Blizzard could definitely look at in the next expansion or the next expansion or whatever, and I and that is racials, racials. I think racials can definitely have a bit of an update. I think it's about time. I just want to show you like one thing I don't understand about racials is that there is a difference in the damage. So if I pick anything like Windwalker, I go to races. This is just simulations of the like, on average what you should be doing if you have maximum gear, everything perfect, blah blah blah. Uh, but the percentage is percentage, so no matter how good you are at the game, picking the right race might make a difference, and I don't like that. I don't want it to be like that. So, for example, Void Elf here doing 394k as a Void Elf, as a Windwalker, while Vulperion is doing 381k. Look at that. That's a huge difference. That's like 13k damage, give or take. 13k damage. Yeah, 13k damage difference. That is absolutely ridiculous. Uh, Reason for this, I mean, you will always see Light Force and Vulperion kind of low, is because they have abilities that are on a global cooldown. They have no damaging like 2% increased crit damage or 1% versatility or something like that. They just have their damage of the racials or whatever come in their in an ability that they have to press. And if you have a rotation that has no downtime, well then you can't really press the ability unless that ability does more damage than some other ability that is just like pure filler. It's strange. I like I don't know. I feel like why not just take away these damaging abilities or at least change them in some way. Like I don't. Maybe I want to play Vulperion. I don't want to play Vulperion, but I mean I want to play Life for Draenei. But like for me specifically, I know a lot of people do not care about this, but for me, it's a huge difference in damage. Why would I? Why would I? Well, think about it this way: like you have two pieces of gear. One of them has 100 more agility than the other one. There's no other difference. What do you pick? Of course, you pick the one with the higher agility. You know what I mean? If you don't care about your race in World of Warcraft, why not just pick whatever does the most amount of damage or gives you the best ability? Which is something I actually want to go into. So, in my opinion, just like I think it's about time to get rid of the specifically damage ratios. What do even pandas have? I don't know. Oh yeah, they have the double feast thing, which is kind of fun, kind of cool idea, but doesn't really matter, honestly. So ratios, I just wanna like not make a tier list or not make like the best ratios you could possibly have. Blah, blah, blah. Like just look at them, see what they could definitely change, see what you know. There's definitely stuff they can change, in my opinion. Anyways, Gift of Naru. This thing sucks. 20% of the total health over 5 seconds. This is actually 20% of your health over 20 seconds. You can heal other people with this, but for example, if you try and heal a tank, which would be kind of actually not that bad, like if you have like a brewmaster and you want to heal them, but it heals your max health to them, not their max health to them. It's lame. I mean, this could be like 50% health, and it was still. I mean, the PvP would be difficult. Okay, maybe a bit of a caveat, like almost maybe just disable all racials in PvP at this point. I mean, there's always humans, orcs, and blah. I don't know. Actually, I don't know anything about PvP, but like I feel like they're getting definitely heavily hampered by the fact that PvP, some of the racials are crazy, and some in Mythic Plus and sometimes in Raid, the PvPs, the racials are actually really OP, and I kind of don't like that. I kind of want for racials to just be like a nice, comfy thing. I think about like perfect examples like make camp with Parent. You can put a Hearthstone down anywhere, anywhere outside, you can just literally put down a camp and you can Hearthstone to that camp. That is so crazy and so cool. You have to be a WoW parent though. That's not something I want to be. But yeah, that's so cool. And this one is actually really cool. Like if you're a tank, this is an extremely powerful ratio. Healing for 5% of all damage. Sorry, reduce the damage of the first hit by 5% of your max health is crazy amounts of reduced damage for especially for the initial hit of a tank. Anyways, Gift of the Naru, like, why is this 3 minutes long? 3 minutes. Anyways, dwarf. Delete this racial. Like, this has been an absolute horrible contention, difficulty, annoying, blah blah blah. Like, it's just way too powerful for any kind of Mythic Plus situation, or if there are any curse or disease or something in the raid. I mean, we don't want there to be like a situation where it's like, we kind of want everyone to be dwarf for this boss. Can everyone switch? You know what I mean? Another difficult ratio is this crit bonus damage increase and healing. This is the strongest ratio usually. Taurens and dwarves usually have the strongest ratios damage wise, and the fact that they have stone form dwarves is just double on top of that. Explorer, for example, like why isn't this like more interesting? Why can't they pick up treasures on the map again? That would be so cool for dwarves to see all treasures on the map again. You can see most treasures these days that are like you're supposed to get these treasures, but what about the like hidden treasures? And you know what I mean? That'd be cool. Gnomes, yeah, like removing a root every 1 minute is not that interesting except for PvP. I mean, this could be like 20 seconds and it would not still not matter at all for PvE. PvP, I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna drop all PvP discussions. PvP makes everything very difficult unless it's like very obvious. Yeah, PvE, this is it's nice to have, but I mean, this would be kind of like it's a little bit weak. But this is kind of the idea that I really like. It's just like racials. That's like, I can get rid of roots. That's so nice. That's so comfy to have this. There are situations where it's really good, but you're not gonna be like, oh, but you know, stone form. Most roots are magic dispels anyway, so stone form does that for you. You know what I mean? Human. I mean, come on, do I really have to like explain how OP this thing is? Like, I think it's been iterated on so many times. 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Okay, I don't know what this is, but like redesign, blah blah blah. You know, so uh, like get rid of it. And oh yeah, they are getting rid of this because of the warband stuff. But man, I hate seeing this. Like every time I've had to do reputation farm, which is not a lot because I don't like doing reputation farm. The fact that I don't have 10% rep, it's like so lame. Shadow Meld. I mean, this is a really cool ability. I just feel like Blizzard maybe needs to change the fact that when a boss ability targets you, you Shadow Melding should not drop that necessarily. I think Shadow Meld is really cool and really powerful, especially for skipping stuff or stuff like that. But I mean, a hunter can feign death and a rogue can vanish and stuff like that. If it's like super mandatory that you need to skip stuff, you could have a night elf or you could just have a hunter or a rogue or something like that, and they just like pull the mobs, run to the side, shadow melt or vanish or whatever. Go. It's a really cool utilizing ability, but maybe it's been a bit too powerful for dungeons because you really see this a lot. I wish this was more just like a drop combat, not a drop all mechanics. Like every boss targeting ability just like completely negated because everyone in the party is a night elf, and it's a little bit too much. Uh, and the fact that this is so OP that nobody even knows about all the other racials because they're just so lame. This is only good in like classic, but man, is it really nice? This is just haste or crit. Usually it's just haste, I believe. I think haste start at like 18 or 6 in the evening. I don't know what that is in AM or PM. But like, increased chance to dodge melee and attacks and like nature damage reduction and increased speed while in stealth. Like this could be 20% and it would not be, OP. You know what I mean? The damage taken stuff, I mean, just get rid of that. Who cares about this shadow damage taken reduction, blah blah blah. Dodge chance by 2%, movement speed by 2%. No, that's something. But you know, just get rid of them. Don't get rid of this though. This is cool. Although you never really use. I don't even remember being in like shadow dead, like not just instantly respawn. Anyways, well, working. Um, Dark Flight. This could. Can they buff this, please? Like 1 minute cooldown, 60% for 10 seconds. That would be so like worth considering picking up a movement speed, like going working for the sprint. I mean, I'll tell you that a lot of shadow priests or priests in general would be like, "Oh man, I'd love to have this. That'd be so great. Like having blinks, rocket jump, or this, or the void elf, but actually good. That'd be so great." The profession stuff, I mean, they already kind of nerfed it and it doesn't really matter anymore. You're not getting like some super powerful benefit from being a certain race, doing a certain profession anymore. So I don't care about these. I don't care about professions in general, so I don't know if people care about them or not. Yeah, Void Elf. This one's kind of crazy on certain specs. Specifically, like Windwalker gets a huge benefit from this. So it's like sometimes it's like a bit crazy, sometimes it's a bit who cares. But this kind of goes into, I think this is on like usually like a minute or 2 minute cooldown, and I mean it incentivizes you to play this if you are a bursty class. But like I said, I'd rather just get rid of all these damage things. And I mean, this is the most OP ratios right here. Like reducing the cost of transmogrification in T-Mox. That's more like it. That's what I call a racial. I like this, and this is really cool. Like not getting delayed by casts, not getting your cast delayed ever. That's really cool. This thing reduce the cooldown. Holy moly! Why does this need to be 3 minutes long? Second of all, none of this should ever be on any kind of global cooldown of any kind, and it should work like a fire mage where you don't even interrupt your casts. So you can send this while casting or attacking or whatever, and you can set it somewhere, and it lasts like 30 seconds instead of, I think it's like 6 seconds. Yeah, you got 6 seconds to press it again. Why? What is going on? Who? You're fighting some Normatus. Well, good luck with that. Yeah. Why is this so underpowered? Why is this like 3 minute cooldowns? Only 30 yards. You have to spend 2 global cooldowns to press it, or I think at least 1 global cooldown, and then you can't be casting when you press it again. Like why? Why is this so limited? You know what I mean? If Blink is so OP, then why aren't there 50 mages in every dungeon and raid? You know what I mean? Like, no. Anyways, Light Forest. One of the other reasons, just get rid of damage abilities. Like, I don't know why. If you don't press this, you don't gain any damage. This thing does not last long. I think it lasts like maximum 1 minute. Just take away the cooldown and have it last forever. I don't understand, like, and it should be more than just like a blacksmithing forge. It should be uh I don't know all of the blacksmithing stuff. I know they need like a forge and a hammer, so why isn't it like both? I mean, any engineer can pick up all of that stuff, and, and mechanomes are these things. Where is it? Mastercraft. You function as a mining forge. Like Mechanomes have a much better passive than a Life Force Draenei for blacksmithing. Like whoa, uh, doing damage upon death. I mean, do you want to do that? I don't want to do that. Dark Iron Dwarves. I mean, why is this just 4%? It's kind of weak. Okay, I need to like speed run through these a little bit here. Another spec, like, don't have this remove poison, disease, curse, and magic and bleed effects. Like, that's crazy. Even if it's just like poison, disease, and curse, that's pretty good. But everything? That's crazy. Yeah. Mole Machine. Oh, what an absolutely cool ability right here. I don't know if they've updated it for. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have. They haven't updated it since Legion. Interesting. They should update this. They should absolutely update this. You should have Dragonflight, especially coming in the next expansion. Hint, hint, not us. Cool Tyrann. This is way too long of a cooldown. It takes way too long to cast it, and if you're not facing the target when you finish casting it, it will go on cooldown, but you won't actually knock them back. Absolutely terrible. This I, I'm about to get angry. Why is this 10% faster movement speed while swimming? Hold your breath 50% longer. Oh my lord. Oh man, what a powerful ability. 10% faster swim speed. Who cares? It could be 100% and it still would not matter at all. Make it 100%. Mechanomes. They actually, I would say, most people issue with Mechanome is the fact that they're Mechanomes. But man, do they have cool ratios like emergency heal, uh, being able to use any function as anything, uh, pick locks, and you can drop all threat. If I remember correctly, I think it's like mirror image. It drops your threat and redirects it to them. Very cool, very nice. Uh, Pandaren, this thing is way too long of a cooldown. I don't understand why it's so long of a cooldown. Bouncy is really cool. I feel like this could just make them immune to falling damage. Because why not? Who cares? 90% reduced damage, something like that. You know, okay, whatever. Drakthir, they have cool racials, in a sense. I mean, really nice to have like racials like Tail Swipe and Wing Buffet. Wing Buffet? Wing Buffet. uh, Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like a Vicious Farm, Visage form, Visage swords, and yeah, cool. Blood Elves, I mean, they've been heavily nerfed, but I do not like the idea of this racial. Because if there's ever a couple of dungeons that really need magic dispels, then no, everyone's swapping back to Blood Elf so they can remove the magic dispels. Boring. I mean, people don't even know what the other ones are because they're so boring and not interesting. Goblins, let's go. Okay, goblins. Reduce this to at least 1 minute, if not 30 seconds. Holy moly, this thing is absolutely so much fun and good and nice to have, especially on like a not mobile class like priest. The 1.5 minute cooldown, why is it so long? Second thing, Rocket Barrage. People don't even know about this thing because it shares a cooldown with Rocket Jump and it does absolutely zero damage. I don't know what these numbers are. $int? What are you talking about? Like what? Like, and it does like, oh, like Frostbolt does like 20k damage. This thing does like 500 damage or something. It's absolutely useless. Either make this actually do damage, or have it as a stun or a taunt or something like that, or just drop it. Don't even put it on the same cooldown. And also it's a global cooldown. Absolutely terrible. Orc. I feel like they could use a bit of a buff in like interesting like Blood Fury is just lame. Command, I mean, they can't even be all pet classes, I think, anymore. And of course, this one is a big issue in my opinion. Tauren. Tauren War Stump should not be maximum 5 targets. War Stump should be every target. Stun every target within the 8 yards. Tired of this. Otherwise, I don't think you need to change the cooldown or anything like that. That would be nice. Stamina, that's nice. And get rid of this, of course, because it actually is really OP. It makes them do a lot of damage. Troll. Either stop nerfing this racial because it's so much fun and great, or remove it. I'm tired of this. Like, or give them some like movement speed instead, or something like, or immune to slows or something like that. I don't know, like something else. Why is this so OP? Psych, it's not. Why is this so underpowered? That's what I meant to say. 10% of total health regeneration may continue during combat. Uh, Health regeneration outside of combat isn't even that strong. I'm not gonna wait for like 2 minutes for me to be max health. I'm just gonna leech it up or heal it up or something. Undead, cannibalize. That's really cool. Like getting health and mana. That's such a cool idea. Like doing this in combat. That'd be like really, really cool if there were ever instances where you can actually do it, but you can't really, except for maybe in PvP, and I think it's heavily nerfed in PvP. Touch the grave, remove it or buff it. It just does way too little amount of anything. And Will of the Forsaken, I think that is fine. I don't know. It's like a PvP thing. You almost never use it in PvE, honestly. If you can fear it in PvE, then something went wrong. So, Nightborn have some really cool ability. Like this is like a very powerful slow. The only issue is like it's a 3 minute cooldown. It's only 50%. So if you really need a slow, there are so many better ways to get slows. And it's on a global cooldown. It does a decent amount of damage, but not a lot. Having access to mailbox, that's really cool, and stuff like that. I really like that. High Mountain. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, why is War Stomp only 5 targets, but Bull Rush is all targets, and it's a charge. That's more like it. Like, make War Stomp this, but don't nerf this, please. Uh, Otherwise, High Mountain has some really cool ratios, like reducing. I mean, versatility, like this, like reducing flat damage. Uh, it doesn't reduce a lot, but it reduces every instance of damage. So like dot damage is reduced quite a lot, quite a decent amount, but not like super crazy amounts, right? Magar Orc, I mean, they have the worst ratios in the game. Pet health increased. Are you kidding me? Who cares? Reduce the duration of poison, disease, and curse by 10%? I think there might actually be an instance where this is actually making you take more damage because the tick, you take the same amount of ticks just in a shorter duration. I'm not too sure about that, but useless completely. Even if it is 30%, 40% in PvP, that's a different thing. It would probably be super OP in PvP, but in PvE, it's absolutely useless, man. You just dispel that stuff. Like, if it's so if it's so terrible, then you like if a poison, curse, or disease spell is like so terrible that you think you need a 10% reduction on it, then it's probably just better off dispelling it. So, this seems like it's nice, but I mean, everyone just gets baseline 20% mounted movement speed if they complete like the exploring stuff or lore master or something like that. And then there's also like the mount equipment that people have completely forgotten, where you can just get 20% movement speed on your mount and nothing stacks with nothing. If this stacked with something, that would be a different thing. No, that would be actually kind of cool, but it doesn't stack with anything. And the worst Rachel in the game, this thing just absolutely does absolutely no amounts of stats. It's completely random, which I don't think there's any spec in the game that just wants a random any secondary stat. Absolutely terrible. Such a low amount that I think it gives like 6% haste or something like that. I don't remember. It's a long time. Sandalari, I mean, can we please make the embrace of the Loa, like the different Loas, actually interesting? Because you have like so many Loas, and all of them are just crap. I mean, you just pick Paku because it gives you 4% crit. That's actually pretty decent. Kragwa is completely useless. It gives you like 1,000 health or something and 100 armor. Absolutely, it gives you such a small negligible amount that it just does not matter at all. It's not even worth talking about. Kimball, this thing that stacks up a bleed, yeah, it most of the time it can't even stack up to 3 times because it procs so few times that it can't even stack up. This one's actually kind of nice because it stacks with everything. It's actually cool, really cool. They could even buff it to 10%. That would be nice. Uh, Bomb Zombie Shadow damage. I mean, it does no damage and it heals for 100% of no damage. So 100% of no damage is no damage. Yeah, so it's completely useless. And Akunda, no one has ever picked this up. If they had the stats for it, I would probably say that probably like about 100 people picked this up when it first came out just to test it and said, "Oh, it's terrible. We're not picking this." Just change these to something else more interesting and move on. Like these just terrible. And yeah, Volparion, like I talked about, like they have some really cool abilities. It's just such a terrible, terrible thing that you have this free Hearthstone that's so cool. You have this Nose for Trouble, which is actually insanely good for tanks. And then you have a racial that does 0 damage. So if you're aware of the fact that you're doing sometimes 13k less damage, which is like, I think it is the big number first divided by the smaller number next. 3% less damage, or somewhere in that ballpark, 5 to 3% less damage. I think that's a little bit too much. 381,624 times 1.05. That's a little bit too much. 381 times 0.3 plus 381. Yeah, okay, it's like 3 to 4%. 3 to 4%? Like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a decent amount over time. I had a plenty of 1% vibes, and some DPS do it. Like if all the DPS were just pick the right race, it's like absolutely terrible to say this, but yeah, then we would have killed a couple of bosses multiple times. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be like this. I'm not saying like you have to pick the right race. Pick whatever you want. Like this doesn't really matter. I just feel like there shouldn't even be an instance where this matters. But sometimes it can matter. That sucks. Just get rid of these DPS racials or balance them more properly. Definitely like bring up like Kimball here, Undead, definitely. I always see the same ones. Volparion, Lightforce, Nightborn, Draenei, Pandaren, Sunderlight Troll usually except for Paku, Makarork, Troll unless you're like very certain circumstances where you're playing like I don't know like maybe Balance Druid or something like that. Not even like the Tauren 2% crit is better than the Troll haste that is on a 3-minute cooldown. That sucks. You know what I mean? Okay, this video is absolutely pointless. Anyways, I hope they give us racials that are fun and interesting, like the Make Camp racial, like Rocket Jump, like Bull Rush, stuff like that. Like you don't need it all the time, but man, is it fun to have it. All right, see ya.